My girlfriend moved in and lived for free while I paid for everything. Yet behind my back, she told everyone that I was the one using her. When I showed her the receipts, her whole little world collapsed. Asterisk, my name is Nathan, 31, a regular IT guy living in a 2-bedroom apartment in the suburbs. My life isn't flashy or luxurious, but it's stable, steady income, no debt, a comfortable routine. For the longest time, I believed that stability was my greatest strength in a relationship. I could offer loyalty, responsibility, a calm space to come home to. I genuinely thought that was something valuable. Then I met Qley, and I learned that being stable sometimes makes you the perfect target for someone who thrives on being taken care of. Qley, 27, is the type of person you see online more than in real life. Her Instagram stories always look like a magazine spread: cute cafes, fancy desserts, candles, flowers, slow motion, hair flips, captions like "I deserve the best." But behind the curated glam was a very unstable freelancing career. She worked with a few small brands, but income came in waves, one good month followed by 2 dry ones. She was fantastic at aesthetics, terrible at anything resembling long-term responsibility. We matched on Tinder and hit it off. In person, she was radiant, confident, witty, charming. She had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the room. After a few dates, she started dropping lines that hit straight into a man's protective instincts. "I've never had anyone treat me as kindly as you. You're the stable type of man I've always wished for. I feel safe around you." Back then, I thought it was love. Now I realize she was setting the stage, casting herself as the soft, fragile girl who needed support, and me as the stable guy who would give it. Everything shifted around the 6-month mark. One night she called me close to midnight, voice trembling. "Nathan, my landlord is raising rent again. My roommate is moving out. I don't know what to do. I can't afford this." I panicked for her. I cared. And like an idiot blinded by affection, I said, "Why don't you stay with me for a while, just until you get back on your feet?" She hesitated just for a second. Now I realized that moment wasn't shock or humility. It was calculation, the pause before deciding which reaction would work best. Then she whispered, "Are you sure? I don't want you to think I'm using you." A perfect line, a line designed to make me reassure her, and I walked right into it. "Of course not. I'm already paying rent. You can help with groceries and utilities when you can. It'll be fine." The next day she showed up with 3 suitcases, 2 giant bags of decorative items, LED lights, a huge vanity mirror, ring lights, makeup organizers, a diffuser, and half a home studio setup. That was the moment I realized she had no intention of staying temporarily. She was moving in for real. At first, everything felt okay. We cooked together, watched Netflix at night, and spent weekends going out. I brushed off the small red flags: packages she ordered daily, the increase in food bills, the long showers that doubled the water bill. Then the end of the month hit. My electric bill skyrocketed, water bill doubled, internet data maxed. I showed her the numbers, gently asking, "Hey, could you help a little this month?" Nothing big. She gave me the saddest, most wounded look. "This month is bad. 3 clients cancelled. Can I make it up to you next month, please?" Of course, I said yes. Next month, same story, different excuse. "I'm investing in new equipment. This is for my career. I promise I'll pay you back once things pick up." She contributed absolutely nothing, except 2 small grocery runs totaling less than my weekly electric bill. But I told myself, she's trying. I should be supportive. I didn't realize I was slowly becoming her full-time sponsor. Then came the night everything cracked. Her friend group invited us out for drinks. One of her tipsy friends leaned toward me, giggling, "Qley's so generous, letting you live with her and splitting rent with you. You're lucky she's helping you out." I choked on my drink. "Helping me?" She nodded enthusiastically. "Yeah, she told us she covers the apartment and you help when you can. She said she doesn't want to pressure you because you're still building your career." My career? I've been stable longer than Qley's ever held a job. The rest of the night I pretended to be fine. But inside something snapped. She was telling people I was living off her. When we got home I confronted her. "Qley, why are your friends saying you're supporting me?" She rolled her eyes, completely unfazed. "Oh my God, Nathan, they misunderstood." I vented a little and they took it too seriously. "Just drop it. Drop it." She had spent 6 months living rent-free in my home, eating food I paid for, showering with water I paid for, watching Netflix on my account, and then told people I was using her. That was the first time I looked at Qley and thought, she's not clueless. She's not struggling. She is comfortable exploiting me. Then worst of all, she was building a whole image around it. I didn't say anything else that night, but I started paying attention, and I stopped assuming the best. What I discovered next, it made everything crystal clear. After that night out with her friends, I started seeing Qley through a completely different lens. The illusion cracked. She was no longer the sweet, fragile girlfriend I thought I knew. She was someone who could lie effortlessly, convincingly, and casually, so casually that even I questioned whether I'd imagined everything to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. I did something I'd never done before. I went back and tracked every single expense since the day she moved in. Being an IT guy, Keeping records is second nature. I opened my bank statements, organized transactions by utilities, groceries, dining, subscriptions, and after filtering 6 months' worth of data, the truth hit me like a punch to the gut. Every bill, every meal, every monthly cost, all of it was paid for by me, 100%. Not a single meaningful contribution from her. Not one. It wasn't the money that bothered. MIT was the fact that she was painting me as some parasite in front of her friends while living completely rent-free in my home. And as if the universe wanted to confirm that she wasn't just careless but calculated, Qley's attitude started shifting, subtly at first, then not so subtly at all. She began acting like she was the one putting up with me. Don't expect me to do all the housework. I'm busy. No wonder the electric bill is so high or wasteful. Why did you eat out without inviting me? Couples don't do that. Never mind the fact that she stayed home all day with the AC blasting, lights on everywhere, filming videos, charging equipment, and taking hour-long showers. But in Qley's world, nothing was ever her responsibility. One evening, I came home after a 10-hour shift and found the living room trash, tripods everywhere, clothes on the floor, makeup palettes covering the table, ring light still on. I tried to be gentle. Hey, can you clean this up when you're done? She didn't even look away from her laptop. I'm busy editing. Can you just do it? It's not that deep. I clenched my jaw. I just got home. I haven't even eaten. She shrugged without a hint of guilt. Then order food. What's the problem? But things escalated when I accidentally saw a notification pop up on her phone while she was showering. I wasn't snooping, but the preview flashed on the lock screen. Girl, how do you deal with a controlling guy like that? Controlling me. I who paid for everything. I who never asked where she went. I who cleaned her mess, supported her career, and let her stay rent-free. I felt a cold wave of shock wash over me. She wasn't just misrepresenting things casually. She was actively rewriting the story, casting herself as a victim and me as some manipulative, tight-fisted dictator. I wanted to confront her right then, but I waited. I needed clarity, not anger. That clarity arrived on my birthday. My parents invited us over for dinner. They liked Qley well. They liked the polished, respectful version she performed whenever she visited. She knew how to charm the room. Partway through the meal, my mom asked a harmless question. How are things at home? Living together must be a big adjustment. And Qley sighed, a long, dramatic, perfectly timed sigh. It's been hard. Honestly, my work is unstable, but I try my best to help Nathan with rent and groceries. I just hope he doesn't feel too much pressure. I froze. My fork literally slipped from my fingers. Help, rent, groceries. She hadn't paid a dime. Not once. My parents fell silent. My dad gave me a confused look. Qley continued eating daintily like she'd just given a heartfelt confession instead of a bald-faced lie. When we got home, I didn't even take off my shoes. Qley, what exactly did you just tell my parents? She smirked slightly, as if annoyed I dared to question her. I told the truth. I tried to contribute. Show me 1 month you actually did. She rolled her eyes. Nathan, you're so dramatic. I just wanted them to know I'm not freeloading. Chill. That set something off inside me. I walked to my room, grabbed my laptop, opened the folder with all the bills, statements, and receipts, and laid everything out on the table here. 6 months, every expense. Show me where you contributed. She skimmed through 2 pages, then scoffed. Wow, you're seriously keeping all this? That's insane. You have control issues. I stared at her. No, I just refuse to let you slander me while you live off me entirely. Her face twisted. And instead of reflecting, she exploded. If you hate having me here so much, why didn't you kick me out earlier? Maybe I should leave. You think I'm some burden, right? I never said that. I said you shouldn't lie about me. She pointed at me like I was the villain. You are the villain. You want to make me look bad. You want everyone to think I'm using you. I laughed a hollow, exhausted laugh. Everyone already thinks that because of your lies. She stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door so hard a frame fell off the wall. I slept on the couch that night, and for the first time, I seriously thought, maybe this relationship can't be fixed. Maybe it shouldn't be, but I wasn't prepared for how far Qley would take things next. After that night, I slept on the couch, in a silent apartment that felt colder than usual. I knew one thing for sure. Qley wasn't going to stop. People like her never admit fault. They simply find someone else to blame. And just like I feared, things began twisting in ways I never imagined. The next day, she was gone almost the entire time. No texts, no calls, no apology, no explanation. Fine, I was done expecting anything reasonable from her, but around 8 p.m., my phone exploded with notifications. Mutual friends, her old co-workers, even acquaintances I barely knew, all sending versions of the same message. Nathan, why did you treat Qley like that? Why would you force her to pay rent when she's struggling? She said you yelled at her about money. Dude, controlling someone financially isn't okay. My stomach dropped. Qley had done exactly what I feared. She went ahead and told her version first, casting herself as the victim and me as some manipulative, stingy monster. I messaged one of our mutual friends to ask what was going on. He sent a screenshot from the group chat. Nathan, he controls every penny. He tracks how much toilet paper I use. He makes me sign a cost sheet every month. I have to ask him for money for food. I feel like I'm living with a dictator. I want to leave, but he threatened to kick me out at night. Qley, in the group chat, he just stared at the screen. Not a single line was true. Not one. I didn't know whether to get angry or laugh out of disbelief. I simply replied to him, believe whoever you want. But it didn't stop there. Around 10 p.m., the door unlocked. Qley walked in. Her face was red from crying, tears still on her cheeks, holding a tissue box as if she'd been sobbing for hours. I'd gotten used to her emotional performances, but this time her eyes had something different, something sharp, like she had rallied an army outside, and now she was back to deliver the final blow. Nathan, she said shakily, you embarrassed me in front of everyone. I laughed under my breath. Who embarrassed who? You spread lies everywhere. She wiped her cheeks, but her tone suddenly shifted, cold, almost calculated. I needed to protect myself. You think people will take your side. You pretend to be nice, but you count every cent. I never asked you to pay a single dollar, I said calmly. She scoffed. Nathan, nobody can live with someone like you. You track expenses. You monitor the bills. You nitpick everything. Those are bills I pay. Qley, just that, nothing more. She stared at me and whispered, that's why I spoke up first, before you twisted the story. Her words hit me like an icy bucket of water. She didn't care about truth. She cared about public perception. But then she changed masks instantly. From cold to soft and trembling. She came closer, grabbed my hand gently. Nathan, let's forget this. I only said those things to get sympathy. I know you're not a bad guy. I just need you. I pulled my hand away. Qley, you lied about me to everyone. Her face hardened. So what? I only need you to know the truth. That was the moment I understood. Qley didn't love me. She loved having someone to lean on, so I said, I can't continue this. Her tears stopped instantly. Her expression shifted, empty, hollow. So you're abandoning me. Not abandoning, just ending something toxic. Ending it for you, right? For both of us. She stared at me with a blank intensity before saying something that made my skin crawl. If you think you can get rid of me, that is you're wrong. I stood up, exhausted. Tomorrow, by 3 p.m., you pack your things. I'll prepare your boxes. She let out a sharp laugh. You think I'll listen? You think you can kick me out of my apartment? It's my apartment, not according to what people believe. That hit like a slap. She wasn't just playing victim. She was using public opinion as a weapon. I finally said, tomorrow, 3 p.m., that's final. Qley stared at me for a long, unnervingly long time. Then she disappeared into the bedroom and slammed the door. I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I heard her whispering on the phone, crying, dramatizing, twisting things further. He's threatening me. I'm scared. If anything happens to me, you know who to blame. My heart sank. She wasn't just lying. She was setting the stage to make me look dangerous, and I realized tomorrow wasn't just moving out day. It would be a showdown. A war of narratives. Where every word I said could be twisted against me, and tomorrow would be the hardest day yet. The next morning, I woke up early. I'd barely slept. My mind kept replaying everything Qley had said, every lie she'd told, every threat she hinted at. With someone like her, the worst-case scenario is usually the correct one. I made coffee and sat at the dining table, watching the minutes tick by. The apartment felt sharp-edged, as if even the air was tense. From the bedroom, Qley still hadn't come out, but I heard noises of Zipper's drawers slamming. Irritated sighs. At least, she's packing, I thought, but I was wrong. She finally walked out, not with a suitcase by her side, but with her arms crossed and confidence radiating off her like she'd already won. She said coldly, Nathan, I've decided. I'm not leaving. I put the mug down. Qley, we talked about this. At 3 p.m. today, she cut me off sharply. You have no right to kick me out. If you try, I'll make sure everyone sees who you really are. I stayed calm. This is my apartment. My name is on the lease. I already told you. She smirked. Right. But you're forgetting something. Everyone already believes I'm the victim here. Right at that moment, my phone rang. My landlord. My stomach dropped. I knew instantly Qley had escalated again. Nathan, he said, we received a serious report. Your girlfriend claims you're controlling, financially abusive, and possibly dangerous. We need to check the situation. I looked at Qley. She smiled like she'd just trapped me. She whispered, if you're going to use the law to push me out, I can use the law to stay. I turned back to the phone. She's lying. None of that is true. The landlord replied, we're not accusing you. We just have to follow protocol. We'll be there in 30 minutes. Qley immediately grabbed her phone and, still standing in front of me, started performing. Yes, I'm okay. He hasn't done anything yet, but I'm still scared. Her voice trembled so perfectly, Hollywood would have given her a contract on the spot. 30 minutes later, the landlord and building manager knocked. Qley threw herself toward the door like a frightened kitten. Thank you for coming. I just didn't feel safe. The manager looked at me like I was a threat. Fine. I had nothing to hide. They asked to speak to us separately. I gave them everything. She'd lived here rent. I covered all bills. She'd fabricated abuse. I had never threatened her. She was twisting the story to stay in a place she didn't pay for. The manager checked the lease my name only. The landlord asked, "Do you have any proof she's lying?" I showed him screenshots of her messages, her dramatic group chat lies, and the audio from last night where she admitted manipulating the narrative there. Whole posture changed. The landlord sighed. "Nathan, legally, you're the sole tenant. You can ask her to leave." I felt relief wash over me. But Qley, who had clearly been eavesdropping, stormed out furious. "No, I'm not going anywhere. If you force me out, I'll sue. I'll tell the police he threatened me." The manager responded sternly. "Miss Qley, stop. You don't have the right to stay. You must leave." Qley's voice broke. "He's abandoning me. I have nowhere to go." The manager replied gently. "You have friends and family. Nathan is not legally responsible for housing you." Qley's expression shifted from desperation to pure hatred. She glared at me as if she wanted to tear me apart. "You'll regret this, I promise." The landlord spoke firmly. "You have 24 hours to move out." I thanked them, but deep down I knew Qley wasn't done. The next day Qley came to get her things, but not alone. She brought a big guy with tattoos up his arms. Maybe a friend, maybe someone she hired. Either way, he was clearly there to intimidate me. He stepped forward aggressively. "She said you bullied her. She's getting her stuff. Don't make problems." I folded my arms. "She wants her things. Fine. But she's not stepping foot past the doorway." Qley shouted. "My stuff is in the bedroom." I pointed to the corner. "Everything's already boxed." 7 neatly arranged boxes, clothes, toiletries, books, everything. Nothing damaged. Nothing missing. Nothing messy. Just cold and efficient. Final. That's what broke her. She wasn't prepared for the silence, the calmness, the lack of drama. Drama was her oxygen, and I had cut it off. She whispered, "Nathan, do you really want me gone?" I simply said, "Qley, you turned me into a villain just to protect your image. There's nothing left to talk about." The tattooed guy looked at her, confused. "Qley, you told me your ex was dangerous." She froze. "No, I mean, I didn't say." He lifted his hands. "I'm not getting dragged into whatever mess this is." And he walked away, leaving her standing there, abandoned even by the person she brought as backup. Tears filled her eyes. "Nathan, please, we can fix this. Don't do this to me." I shook my head. "There's nothing left to fix." She quietly packed the boxes and walked out. When the elevator doors closed, the apartment suddenly felt lighter than it had in months. Free mine again. But I knew there was still one final chapter: the aftermath, the consequences, and the real closure. Qley left, but the story didn't end there. With someone like her, nothing ever ends with a single slammed door. Drama is Qley's oxygen, and I knew she'd make a few more desperate moves before finally letting go. But what I didn't expect was how quickly everything would collapse for her afterward. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Mike, our mutual friend. "Dude, Qley's trash talking you everywhere. But this time, people aren't buying it." I asked what he meant. He sent screenshots from the group chat. In it, Qley was trying to play the victim again, claiming I threw her out on the street and financially abused her. But the replies, completely different from before. "Didn't you say Nathan paid everything for months? You said you lived rent-free. Wait, now you're saying he used you?" "Qley, your stories keep changing." One of her longtime friends even said, "I'm tired of these dramatic stories. You're always the victim in every version." For the first time, the mask didn't work. People had heard too many of her lies, too many contradictions. The sympathy well had finally run dry, and I didn't have to defend myself at all. The truth defended me. About a week later, around 7:30 p.m., someone knocked on my door. It was Qley, but not the confident, manipulative Qley I was used to. Her eyes were swollen, her hair a mess, no makeup. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. She whispered, "Nathan, please talk to me." I crossed my arms. "What do you want, Qley?" Her voice cracked. "I don't have anywhere to stay. All my friends turned their backs on me. My family is mad at me. Please, let me stay for a while. I'll pay rent. I'll change. I promise." I looked at her for a long second. The old me might have caved, the version of me who kept making excuses for her. But now, no, not anymore, I said. "Qley, you don't need to change for me. You need to change for yourself. But that's not my responsibility anymore." She burst into tears. "How can you be so cold? You're heartless." I shook my head. "Heartless? Qley, you lied about me to everyone. You turned me into the villain to protect your image. I'm not cold. I'm done." She sobbed harder. "So you'll just let me be homeless?" I sighed. "You have family. You have plenty of people you ran to when things were good. You're only here now because everyone else walked away, not because you love me." Silence. She knew I was right. Finally she whispered, "So, you'll never forgive me?" I answered gently, "Qley, I'm not angry anymore. But forgiveness doesn't mean reunion. We're done." She stood there completely drained, and then she walked away quietly. No screaming, no manipulation. Just emptiness. From that day on, Qley disappeared completely. No texts, no calls, no accidental drop-ins, just silence. and it was the calmest month I'd had in a long time. I focused on work, picked up extra shifts, and finally got my finances back on track after months of covering for 2 people. I rearranged my apartment, removed everything she'd cluttered the place with, changed the layout, repainted the wall. It felt bigger, cleaner, mine again. Some mutual friends reached out, apologizing for believing Qley's lies. Others admitted they had noticed her victim routine for a while. One friend told me, "Man, we're glad you got out. She loved attention way more than she ever loved you." For the first time in months, I genuinely laughed. One afternoon, Mike called me. "Bro, wanna hear something wild?" "Sure, what now?" "Qley's living with some distant relative. Most of her friends blocked her. She keeps saying life is unfair and everyone betrayed her." I was quiet at first, not happy, not sad, just done. Then Mike said, "And guess what she told someone yesterday?" "What?" "She said, I just want someone to take care of me." "Why is that so hard?" I shook my head. "I'm just glad I'm no longer on that list." Mike laughed. "Amen to that. But from closure one evening, I sat by the window watching the sunset paint the buildings gold, and it hit me. Qley came into my life to teach me something I never would have learned otherwise. Kindness without boundaries creates people who only know how to take. I didn't hate her anymore. I just pitied the fact that she valued comfort over honesty, drama over stability, and support over self-reliance. And the ending wasn't explosive. No revenge plot, no dramatic confrontation, no gotcha moment. Just this. I closed the door, and life punished her for me. The truest, calmest justice there is. I stood up, looked around my clean, peaceful apartment, and smiled. For the first time in months, I finally felt it. Freedom.